Thank you, Christian, and hello, CoolineKids. Let me organize the screen just so I can see you all. Thank you so much for having me. As Christian said, my name is Mr. Ang. That's how my students at East Palo Alto Academy know me. I'm a high school teacher and I teach chemistry, engineering, leadership. I've taught physics before, and I also do a lot of work with math. I put there my name as Derek Kalau Ang, and that Kalau is an important part of my last name. It's my mom's last name, and it means a lot because it represents a big part of my identity and who I and how I see myself and who I am. So I have a question for you. I identify as being Chinoy. Can anyone guess what Chinoy might be a combination of? Two different words. Yes, Cynthia.
Is the first one China?
Yeah, good job. So the first part is China or Chinese, and the second one's a bit harder, but it has to do with the flag that you see on the left side of the picture. Does anyone know where that flag is from? So it's actually go ahead, Miss Ho.
Is it it's a Philippine flag for, I think I'm pronouncing it wrong, but Pinoy?
Yes. And Filipinos have a term that we sometimes use to refer to ourselves, and that's Pinoy. So if you combine the two together, Chinese and Pinoy, it's Chinoy. And I am a half Filipino, half Chinese American. Both my parents grew up in the Philippines, and I have very strong ties to my Filipino heritage and my Filipino culture. And so I'll be speaking a little bit about that Filipino culture. It's a culture that I'm very, very proud of, and a culture that I think maybe some of you know something about. So I have a couple other questions to ask you, and I'd like you to guess. Does anyone know who this person is? Anyone want to take a guess?
Am I able to participate with you?
Of course.
Is that Manny Pacquiao, the boxer?
Yes, it is. This is Manny Pacquiao, and definitely one of the more famous celebrities from the Philippines around the world. Very famous boxer. He's a great boxer that maybe some of you have seen on TV in his fights. What about this person? Any ideas? Yes, Mr. Wong.
I know that on the left, we have a Disney princess.
Yes, we do.
And her name is Jasmine, Princess of Agrabah. But on the right, I believe is her singing voice, Lea Salonga.
Yes, that's right. And if you've watched the original Aladdin, the song A Whole New World was sung by a Filipina singer by the name of Lea Salonga. Now let's move into food, because I know maybe we're thinking of food and dinner is coming up, or maybe we just ate dinner. What is this picture of? Who knows what this is?
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, it looks like some of us wish we had some right now. Any guesses? Yes, Ms. Ho?
Okay, I only want to go if no one else wants to go. Is it lumpia?
Yes, it is. Lumpia, one of my favorite things to eat as well from the food from my Filipino culture. It's really yummy. If you haven't had a chance to eat it, I definitely recommend it. And one more in the food category. I don't know if you've seen this before, but it's really, really popular, especially at parties or weddings or big events. Yeah, I'll move away from the food. I know we're getting more hungry, but this is a dish that we call lechon, and it is a whole roasted pig with the skin that is crispy and the meat that's moist. It's just a really delicious meal that is appreciated for especially during special events, because it's usually something that you eat on a special occasion. Now, these are a lot of reasons why I'm very proud of my heritage and of my culture, but there's another reason why I'm really proud of being Filipino, and that reason has to do with the word bayanihan. Bayanihan. That's the word I want to talk to you about today and share with you a little bit more. But I'm so proud of being Filipino because of this. Now, before I talk to you about it, I want to ask you a question. Who knows what this is?
A house.
Yes, that's a house, right? It's a house. Now, if I asked you another question related to this house, Cynthia and others, do you think it would be possible to move this entire house from one spot to another without taking it apart? Just the whole house, lifting it up and moving it. Is that possible? Has anyone seen that before?
Whenever I go on road trips, I see like big trucks holding like that type of house. So I'm going to say yes.
And you would be right, Cynthia, because that's what I've seen as well on road trips that I've been on. They use really big trucks and big cranes to move these really big houses that are really heavy and big. But what if I asked you, do you think it'd be possible to do that without using these big trucks, without using big machines like big cranes? Well, actually, in some ways, yes. This is not as big a house as the one we saw before, but it still very much is a house that people live in the country of the Philippines, where my parents are from and my family is from. And what you see in this picture are a group of individuals that are all coming together to carry this house from one location to another. Now, in some areas in the Philippines where it rains so much and it's so tropical and areas can get flooded, this is something that these people often have to do to move to an area that's more dry, because the area they were living in got flooded out. I'd like to share a short video with you so you can see what this is like, if that's okay.
Landas ng madilim. Paano makakamit? Paano mararating? Nagsimula na magkakasama sa baba. Sabay-sabay patas lahat itigala. Lahat magagawa kung sama-sama. Kung may palakid man ay kaya-kaya. Mga pangarap nating hawak-hawak. Isa-isang matutupad kapit na bayanihan. Bayanihan.
So it makes me feel so proud of my heritage to share with you a tradition, a very important part of what we call the Bayanihan spirit. Now, this is the spirit of community, of working together to achieve an impossible goal, doing things that people would normally say, you can't lift a house and move it without a truck. But people come together to make that happen for each other. and they help each other in a time of need without expecting anything in return, walking miles down the road to carry someone else's house that isn't even theirs. It's just so amazing. It just feels so great. Like you feel it right here in your heart. And, I was thinking about this the other day, and then I remembered a video that I saw that also really touched me when I saw it and connected to this. So I hope you'd be okay with me sharing with you one more short video that I think captures the spirit of Bayanihan. Now in this video, which you might have seen because it has millions of views, it's a video of a group of people that work together to rescue a dog that is stuck in this flow of water. And I'll play it for you.
Чуть-чуть не достает. Еще одного человека надо. Давай, 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 давай.
Well, thank you for bearing with me and watching that video. I just didn't know how else to really capture what an amazing moment that was, and what a beautiful example of this spirit of coming together to do something that other people would say, you can't do that. Now, when I was watching this and reflecting on this idea, what I thought and realized is that this spirit of Bayanihan that I feel so proud of because of my heritage as a Filipino, it's really something that not only Filipinos have, it's something inside of all of us. It's something that I have had the chance to witness time and time again, even in my time as a teacher at East Palo Alto Academy. Yes, Cynthia, you're right. You had a hand earlier.
So, I really like that video because my dog, we actually found him in the streets too when I was a little kid and my sister was like around the age of 6 or so. And now she's in the home, she's with us in this home, and whenever we see a dog, we usually give food because it's really sad to see dogs and just animals there on the streets with no home. And I'm really sad that and happy that that dog that was in the water got some help.
Thank you for sharing that, Cynthia. I think that's a perfect example of what I'm talking about. And thank you for the way that you and your family continue to care for and look out for dogs that are also in need of help in your community. But this is what I'm referring to, what I think I felt so moved by and what I wanted to share is, you know, we call it Bayanihan in the Philippines, but this is something that actually lives within each and every one of us. And we see examples of this all the time. We see it in the news, in the way that people are coming together to fight for justice and equality. We see it in the way that even our own community is standing up for the community, and the way that we can serve 2,200 meals every day to people who need it, especially during a time like this pandemic, thanks to the BGCP and all the partners who make this possible, and all those volunteers who come together to make moments like this possible. Or the mission to plant thousands of trees, which can sound like, oh my gosh, that's so much, how do we do that? But when you bring together communities of people like Canopy, who's trying to do that, it makes something that seems impossible possible. And my message to you, CoolineKids, is you're doing this. You embody the spirit of Bayanihan in what you do, in the way that you are coming together and working together. You are achieving things that other people would call impossible. Even if we cannot physically be together and we're in a space that is virtual, you are here together in this moment right now with all of us. I want to encourage you to continue embracing the spirit of Bayanihan. And I want to just thank you for giving me a chance to share with you a little bit about my culture and about this work. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ng, for sharing. Just an amazing, amazing presentation that you did. Thank you. All right, I'm gonna try to share my screen again so we can move on to our next activity with, actually, Sonia. Okay, actually, never mind. You can, let me just share my screen.